LeetCode 540, it says there is a single element in a sorted array. So I have been given a sorted array consisting of integers where every element appears twice except for one element which appears exactly one. I need to return the single element that appears once, and I need to do this in log of n time without using extra space. So over here, as you can see, 1 occurs in pair, 3 occurs in pair, 4 occurs in pair, and 8 occurs in pair. However, 2 doesn't occur in pair. So I need to return 2. Okay. Now since this says I need to do this in log of n time, so I will think of binary search. Okay. So I will first tell you few situations that could be possible. So assuming I put my low as 0 and my left as 0 and my right as n minus 1, and I calculate mid, that is L plus R by 2. And another thing I calculate each time is even. So is even is basically that tells me how many elements are there to the right of mid. So it tells me this thing. So if there are even elements to the right of mid, is even will be true. If there are odd elements to the right of mid, then this will be false. Okay. So now my first step will be, so assuming this is my, there is my array. So my mid is over here and this is my mid plus 1. So the condition being these two elements are equal. Okay. So my nums of mid is equal to nums of mid plus 1. In this condition, I have either this could be is even, that is even is true, or is even is false. Is even is false. Okay. So now let me show you. So this is 2 and this is 2. Now is even is true. So this is mid and this is mid plus 1. So to the right of mid there are even number of elements. So assuming there are even number of elements, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So these elements, if there are in increasing order, so assuming random values, so this is 4, 4 and 5. So in this situation my low would be updated to, since this my single value will be found on the right hand side, so my low will be updated to mid plus 2. Now let us analyze the another situation. So this is mid and this is mid plus 1. Now it says there are odd number of elements. There are odd number of elements to the right. So assuming this is 3 and 3. So there are odd number of elements to the right of mid. In that case, we cannot find our single element on the right hand side. So in that case, I do my right as mid minus 1. Okay. This is the first case. Okay. So I initially check if my nums is equal to nums of mid plus 1. If that is true, I bifurcate into is even is true or is even is false. Now let us take another example. So my nums of mid is equal to my nums of mid minus 1. Okay. And again in this I check if my is even is true and if my is even is false. Okay. So this is 2 and this is 2. So assuming this is mid and this is mid minus 1. Now my first case is even. So this is 2, this is 2, this is mid minus 1 and this is mid. So it says there are even number of elements to the right of mid. So they are assuming there are even number of elements to the right of mid. Now the total number of elements would be odd since there is one element without a pair. So towards the left there will be odd number of elements. So assume to the left of mid there will be odd number of elements. Okay, so since now I need to, since there will be odd number of elements to the right of to the right there are even number of elements, and to the left there will be, one second, to the right of mid there are even number of elements, and my total number of elements to be odd, it will be something like this. Okay, now in this case these two over here will form a pair. Over here these two might form a pair and my single element will be found here. So in this case I update my right as mid minus 2. Okay, now this is the situation. Now the fourth case, this is mid minus 1 and this is mid. Now it says is even is false, so on the right of mid there are odd number of elements. Okay, so in that case on the left there will be odd number of elements as well. So over here these two will form a pair and this will be left alone. So in that case my left will be updated as mid plus 1. So I run a while loop for left less than right, and at the end I will have my answer in nums of mid. Okay, now I will code in Rust. So over here my first case will be to find n. So my let n is equal to nums dot length. Following that I create a mutable left that will be 0. Then I create something known as right that will be n minus 1. Now I run the while loop while l less than r. So I find mid, this will be l plus r minus l by 2, and I say is even. Okay, so this will be r minus mid and this is modulo 2, this is equal to 0. So this will store a boolean value. Now if my mid plus 1 is less than n and my nums of mid is equal to nums of mid plus 1. In this case I have two options. So if this is even on the right hand side, so my L is equal to mid plus 2, else this is odd, in that case my right is equal to mid minus 1. So after coming out from this else, if I can do else if my mid greater than 0 and my nums of mid is equal to nums of mid minus 1. Again over here I got two conditions. So if this is even, in that case my right is equal to mid minus 1, else my left is equal to mid plus 1, and my final case will store the nums, will store my answer in mid. Okay, after coming out from this while loop, this my answer will be stored in nums of L. Let me check. So I take n as nums dot length, L as 0 size and R as n minus 1. I'll run the loop while L less than R and I calculate mid as left plus right minus left by 2, and I do is even is right minus mid modulo 2 is equal to 0. So if my mid plus 1 is less than n and my nums of mid is equal to nums of mid plus 1. So I do mid plus 2, else mid minus 1. So else if mid greater than 0 and nums of mid is equal to nums of mid minus 1. If this is even, okay, sorry, over here this would be 2. Let me submit this again.